Hey everyone, it's Lori with A Voice in the Dark production on YouTube. I wanted to talk about we the people. It's coming to a time now where we really have to have that talk with our family and friends. What do we really want our United States of America, democracy, no republic, but democracy to actually be? And how we want it to fill our world, or, our lives. What do we expect of it? What do we want to make it into? And a lot of this is going to come down for a while because the country's been taken into almost an absolute financial crisis. And I think that we need to decide how we want to move from now, to take care of now, and to move forward. There are so many wonderful things we could be doing that if we didn't let money be the major factor, profit, and anytime you have to have a profit, it really, when you only deal in profits, then we lose. But if we could deal in fair trade with each other, or employee-owned companies, so that we're each getting our fair share from the company. We're going to have to start little businesses because they've really demolished a lot. We've lost a lot more than we want to even think about, but we have to now. We have come to the time where all this is going to fall down around us and rather quickly. Because we were taken really bad. So our tax dollars aren't really there. And there's some things about our government that we are not fully aware of yet that will be coming out. And we have to decide how we want to go from here. Do we want to go back to trusting, politicians and that sort of thing? Or do we really want to work in smaller communities within our states, within our own communities? These are things that we need to start talking about with each other. And we have to decide what our values truly are, not religious, and that's a personal thing. It was always meant to be personal. You and God, that's it. So, what are your personal values? For the greater good of all, for just the love of money, or, everyone does have a right to make their own money. However, we've kind of gotten to a point where we really have to look after each other now in a bigger way than we've ever had to before. And I just think that it's time that we start thinking about these things and how we're going to feed ourselves and everyone else, because we're going to have extra food for those that are coming out of cities that don't have anything. It's going to get crazy, but if we hold to some values and some unique methods of creating food and electricity and things like that, we can get through this fairly easy. Uncomfortable, but easier. It won't be as bad as it could be, as long as we are willing to make the stand and make this our country, just like they did in Africa, and the Central Africa is doing, and different things like that. But we're different here because we are full of people from all over the world. They all know a little something different than we do. They might be able to help us. We need to have roundtable discussions. We have to start groups. We have to really become all that we can be. And I know that it is, a lot of us are going to have to do it that are already retired. Because the young people are going to be trying to keep the workforce going. And we have to decide how we want to be as a country, as communities, as a country, and we have to start looking at the world a little better. And how do we want to fit in with the rest of the world? We have some of the cleanest air we've ever had. We have engines that are already built to handle and give us clean air. There were a lot of things that we were lied to about. And all because in the end they wanted to control and buy and own everything. And we have to decide whether or not we want to be part of that. Because I don't think we do. But it won't be up to me. It'll be up to all of us. But we have to start thinking about it. And we have to think quickly now because things are going to start rattling and falling apart. And if you know people that are gathering and getting together with the different issues that we're going to have to deal with as far as government. And you're going to find out that our government's basically not going to be existent for much longer because of all the dirty work. Once it starts falling, everybody will be brought to the top. All of it will. And we have to decide, the people, what we really want. What kind of oversight we want, oversight committees. We need committees to get together that can oversee where all the loopholes were that got used and utilized and see if there's any others. We have to make this country either a true democracy and claim sovereignty from all crowns. See, the English crown still owns part of us. They still are our master by the ruling class. Their opinion is that the United States people have had enough. They've been spoiled rotten, and they need to be put back in place. Their place. See, they really wanted this to be poor and wealthy. And none of us to be wealthy. None of us to even own, a hair dryer that we could actually fix on our own if we needed to. But all that's going to tumble down, and we just have to decide what kind of people we want to be and how we are going to each help each other, whether it's belonging to groups that are putting things together to make things happen that we need, or helping with government knowledge and stuff like that. Because some of the people that we're going to put into the offices, they aren't going to be that familiar with all this. Usually a politician gets into all that. That's a different breed. So these are things that we need to think about. And we need to think about what kind of people we want to be, truly, what kind of people we want to be, and what kind of world we want. And my opinion is, if we look at Sweden and Finland and some of the Nordic countries that have already done extremely successful countries that have become nothing but extra support for each other because they all make the same. They do what they love doing instead of doing what they have to do to make money. I think if we start, groups that start really researching these countries, and like I said, Burkina Faso, the way they handled it, they kicked the oligarchs out, and they've got gold and diamonds, but they said no more because you don't give us anything. They were just takers. That's what that's what the oligarchs are. They're takers. They're not givers. They're takers. And my opinion is they don't rule correctly. They're bad leaders. But, they're the ones with the money, and they're the ones that set everything up that we live by. But now it's all falling apart around the world. So, we're at that point now that our new world because we're going into a brand new world. That's our time. It's our golden years that we're going into, that we were promised by God, by the Most High of the actual divine universe. So, golden years for us would be centering ourselves in our heart space, and with our intuition. You really have to practice using your intuition, because that's what our spirit talks through us from, or God, however you want to talk about, however you want to say it. Goddess, all that is, source. And anybody's God is good enough, because the true God, Goddess, all it is, they hear it. They know. They know your heart. They know your intentions. But there's no place for hate anymore. We're going to need each other. Everyone. So, this was just my heads up for that. Things are going to start moving rapidly and crazily, and it's going to be even harder to keep up with. Hopefully we'll have really good people in media. There's some that are on the on YouTube and on the internet that are good. They're really good. But it's going to be hectic, is what I'm going to tell you. It's going to be hectic, and we're going to have to really stick with the thing, and work locally with our own communities and our own states, and make it real clear what we think and feel, and go from there. I love you all, and it's not a sad thing. It's just that it's going to be different, and it's going to be exciting and troublesome and crazy, but we're some of the greatest thinkers in the universe. You know, we're not high and mighty ones, but we are capable of tapping into the source consciousness, and then we can get through anything. I love you. Talk to you later. Lori.